The European Union recently has indicated that it does not expect to provide financing for gas storage in Ukraine as part of the mechanism to assure reliable gas supplies over the winter. Do you expect that Ukraine will find the financing for this gas storage?
I do believe we still will be talking to our European partners, but definitely, on many occasions Ukraine is proved to be able to find a solution even under the most difficult circumstances to the most difficult questions. So I presume that we will be working depending on the situation. If we have to do it on our own, using our own resources, I presume we'll do that, we'll manage, but still more assistance we get from the European and other international institutions, the better, because we do understand and we do believe that the ensuring a flow of gas and oil through Ukrainian pipelines is in the interest not only of Ukraine, but also it's also in the interest of all European consumers of gas and oil, which is going through our gas and oil transportation system.
Thank you. The sharp decline in Ukraine's gross domestic product, one report indicates that in the first quarter of this year it was 20% below the first quarter of last year. Has this sharp decline led Ukraine to accelerate economic reforms and efforts to reduce corruption, particularly perhaps in the energy sector, which has appeared to be one of the more corrupt sectors in Ukraine?
So I would say that now it's difficult to measure the extent of the progress reached in using the crisis as the possibility for reform. So it's still pretty difficult because all the state bodies have to address the most urgent pressing needs related to overcoming or mitigating the negative consequences of the economic downturn. But I do believe, again, in my personally strongly believe that we should use the opportunity, in a way, opportunity provided by this crisis to speed up reforms in all major sectors of our economy, including energy sector, because exactly the crisis, the severity of the crisis proved that we might have been much better prepared to withstand the crisis were not the so much needed structural reforms were deferred, postponed for too long.
Thank you. People often say that civil society in Ukraine is stronger, perhaps much stronger, than in Russia. Yet Ukraine and Russia lived for most of Ukraine under the same length of time as Bolshevism, although Western Ukraine, of course, had less time under rule by Moscow. How do you account for Ukraine seeming to have stronger civil society than Russia, and how important do you think that is for the result that we see, which is that political life in Ukraine is much more open than in Russia?
Definitely. I think that one of the major achievements of Ukraine's development post-1991, but especially post-2004, has been the emergence of very vibrant, strong civil society. And no matter how some people can be not satisfied with civil society, saying that it's not strong enough, sometimes not efficient enough, but all the developments in Ukrainian politics show that the politicians have to take into account civil society. I mean, civil society does have leverage. It works. It's very much alive and getting stronger. That's what I believe in. Why it has happened in Ukraine, it has happened in Russia, again, it's actually maybe calls for more profound analysis. But definitely it reflects the difference in the paths chosen by our two countries. Ukraine has definitely, especially after 2004, embarked upon the path towards evolving in a democratic state which has shared democratic values with the countries, first of all, countries united in European and Euro-Atlantic community. That's our choice, and I do believe that this choice is irreversible. And actually, the civil society is a very important part of this choice, a very important part of all the developments that are taking place within this framework, our, if you wish, drive quest for membership in European and Euro-Atlantic institutions.
Thank you. People in Europe sometimes criticize the United States for pushing too hard on the European Union to bring Ukraine, Georgia, Turkey into the European Union. Do you think the United States is going about this the right way? Are we pushing too hard, or would you prefer that we leave this up to you and not push so hard? Or do you see the European Union's own crisis internally as being the main obstacle?
Definitely, I, as ambassador and we in Ukraine, very much appreciate all the efforts which are being done by the U.S. government, and also it's also important by think tanks, non-governmental organizations here in the United States to promote Ukraine's membership in the European Union. I think it's very helpful. At the same time, being realistic, it's finally boils down to the decision by the European Union. So in this case, I think that Ukraine has, first of all, to concentrate on internal reforms now, take into consideration all the circumstances. Our main goal now is the conclusion of our talks with the European Union on the Agreement on Association. And I think definitely it would be a landmark in a sense that having the free trade area agreement as a part of this overall agreement on association, it would signify two very important things. So we'll be closing very, well, pretty much near to the model of economic integration, and moving as close as possible to cooperation with the European Union political institutions. So I do believe that at some stage, when we will be able to create a critical mass of reform within the country, it will be extremely difficult for the European Union to deny the possibility of Ukraine to be a member of the European Union. So for this, of course, Europe also has to change, sort of attack the way looking at Ukraine, not as a burden, a new burden for the European Union, but rather an asset, maybe a set of assets being brought by Ukraine by the time when Ukraine will start, well, serious, I hope, not too distant future negotiations about accessing to the European Union.
Thank you.